Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you looked at your pricing and you felt completely at peace? If you're like most women that I know who have businesses, that question probably made you feel a bit uncomfortable. Did you know 70% of women underestimate their value when pricing their services? And it's not just a random statistic. It's a pattern I've seen play out over and over again. Let me share a little story with you. Not a couple years ago, around 8 years ago when I had my cleaning company, I remember I was contacted by one of the top real estate agencies in Birmingham, and they wanted me to give them a quote. And I sat there for hours, scared to death of charging them too much. So what I ended up doing is I cut my price in half. And the reason I did that was because I thought I had to prove myself first, and because I thought they'd say no, and because somewhere deep down I didn't believe I was worth more. Does that sound familiar? If it does, don't worry, because today we're going to be changing that narrative. Firstly, let's talk about the money worth connection. Let's talk about the most common price mistakes I see women make. Comparing ourselves to everyone else in the market. Charging based on time rather than value. Discounting before we've even asked. Over-delivering to compensate for our prices, and apologising for our rates. But here's what's really happening when we undercharge. We're not just losing money, we're actually draining our life force. Every time you say yes to a price that sounds too low, you're saying no to your value. Let me share something powerful about feminine energy and pricing. Our natural tendency to nurture, to give, to support. It's beautiful. It really is. But it's often the very thing that leads us to undervalue our contributions. So now let's talk about the psychology of pricing. Let's dive deep into something that transforms everything about how you price your services. The psychology of money. I want you to think about your earliest memory of money. And mine was hearing my dad say that you can't spend money because you have to save it for a rainy day. And I often heard my mum saying, I don't have no money. Those are my earliest money memories. Does it sound familiar? So today we're going to explore the 4 money archetypes I've observed in successful women and how each one approaches pricing differently. As I describe these archetypes, I want you to see and observe which one resonates with you mostly. So firstly, we have the nurturer. You're naturally giving and supportive. Your first instinct is to help even at your own expense. You struggle with charging what you're worth because it feels selfish. You often hear yourself saying, don't worry about the price, let's make it work. So number 2, I've got a friend who's a brilliant therapist, and she was undercharging by 70% for all of her services. And the reason she gave is because she felt guilty in charging clients who were struggling. That was her reason. But what she didn't realise is that by undercharging, she was actually limiting her ability to help more people. So let's move on to number 2, which is the perfectionist. You're detail-oriented and excellence-driven. You won't charge premium until everything is perfect. You're constantly upgrading your skills. You often think, once I get the new certification, and you know that was me. I am the perfectionist because I used to always think, when I get this certificate, then I can offer this. When I finish this part of my business off to perfection, then I can start charging this. That was me. That was definitely me, the perfectionist. So let's move on to number 3, which is the peacekeeper. You avoid money conversations to maintain harmony. You'd rather undercharge than to face potential conflicts. You often discount without being asked. Your pricing conversations usually start with, I usually charge, but... Does that sound familiar? So now let's move on to number 4, which is the achiever. You base your worth on external validation. You're always comparing your prices to others. You suffer with imposter syndrome despite your success. And you often think, what if they find out I'm not actually worth this much? And you know what's fascinating about these archetypes? They're all rooted in inherited money stories. Let me show you how to transform them. The money transformation framework. Number 1, identification. What's your current money story? Where did it come from? How is it serving or limiting you? Number 2, release work. What I want you to do is to take a moment right now and think about your current pricing. What emotions come up? That feeling isn't random. It's directly connected to your money story. Number 3, feminine negotiation mastery. Here's where it gets interesting. The feminine approach to pricing isn't about being aggressive or masculine. It's about creating win-win scenarios, leading with value, standing in your worth while remaining open and collaborative. using intuition as a guidance system. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. Last month I was speaking to my friend who is a consultant, and she was charging $75, as she's based in the States, for her consulting services per hour. What we did was identify her money archetype, and what we found her to be was a nurturer, which is a common archetype for women. And what we found is that she was following her mother's beliefs that helping people shouldn't cost much. And through our work together, she transformed into, my success allows me to help people on a deeper level. And within 2 weeks, she doubled her rates, and something magical happened. And what happened was her clients started showing up more committed, doing the work and getting better results. So sometimes when people pay more and they're spending more, taking more out of their pocket for a service, they think to themselves, you know what, I need to get my value for what I'm paying. They seem more inclined to put in the work. Sometimes when people pay less, they don't take it as seriously. Like if I buy a course that costs £25, I don't take it as serious as if I bought a course that cost me £3,000. If I pay £3,000, I'm going to make sure I do that course to the best of my ability and get the qualification. If I pay £25, I'd be like, okay, then I'll do it next week. You don't take it as seriously. So remember that when you're pricing your services. So now let's talk about energy leaks in your pricing structure. These are subtle ways in which you might be undermining your worth, over-delivering to compensate for your prices, offering unnecessary discounts, adding extra services without charging, being available 24/7. And if that's what you're doing, you'll eventually be burnt out. Trust me. And the turning point came in my business when I realised something profound. Money shame isn't just about money, it's about power. And as women, for some reason, we sometimes have a complicated relationship with power. Men don't have a problem with power. Their egos alone makes them feel like, yeah, they ooze power from every part of their body. They use their power to their advantage. But for some reason, a lot of us women have a problem with power, and we need to get over it real soon. We need to get over it, especially if we want to be charging prices that we're worth. We need to get over this power struggle. So what I want to go over now is a breakthrough exercise that I use with my friends and clients. So what I want you to do is take out your journal and answer these questions. Number 1, what would you charge if you knew your worth was non-negotiable? Number 2, what would you charge if you knew you couldn't fail? Number 3, what would you charge if you knew your service could transform lives? Because here's the truth about pricing psychology. It's not just about numbers. It's about the energy you bring to money conversations, the boundaries you set with your time and your value, the transformation you're truly offering, and the example you're setting for other women. Now we understand the psychology behind our pricing. Let's move into something really exciting, the strategic framework which will help you implement these insights. So let's talk about the strategic pricing framework. So this is going to revolutionise how you price your services, and it's what I call the worth calculation method. But firstly, let me tell you something that this isn't. It's not about copying your competitors. It's not about pricing by the hour. It's not about what the market will bear. And it's definitely not about undervaluing yourself. So the worth calculation method, something that I developed recently to help successful female entrepreneurs. I always had women in mind when I created this. I want you to think about your pricing like a sacred pyramid with 3 distinct levels. Number 1, foundation level, which is the core value. So this is your basic costs and expenses, your time investments, your operation overhead, and your basic skill set. And the thing is, this is where most women stop. They calculate these basics and add a tiny margin, and that's why they struggle. So let's go deeper. Number 2, middle level, which is called expertise and experience, which is your years of experience, your unique methodology, your specialized knowledge, your track record of results, and your intellectual property. And the thing is, I forgot about this when I used to price. I used to watch a lot of other women in the similar industry, and I used to price similar to them. But then I realized that, for one, my methodology is so different to most female leadership methods out there. I've got over 10 years experience in leadership in the corporate world, and I've got a track record of results, so that also has to be incorporated into my prices. When I first started, I only charged at foundation levels for reasons I've mentioned before, because I used to see what everybody else was doing. I used to look at people or women in the industry who had more followers than me on Instagram, who had more followers than me on things like LinkedIn and stuff like that. But then I realised, no, Naomi, you are in a league of your own. Charge your value, not anybody else's. So now let's move on to number 3, which is crown level, and it's called unique magic, which consists of your special gifts, your intuitive abilities, your unique perspective, your transformational impact, and your energetic presence. So, for instance, you can have a real estate agency and they all offer the same thing. They offer properties to be bought, or they sell properties and stuff like that. But if you add your little unique selling points, that's it. If you add your unique selling point to make you different, then for that alone, it adds value to your business. So say if you're a real estate agent that offers helicopter tours, so you can see the bird's eye view of the land or the property that you're going to buy. That's different to what anyone else is doing. That's your own methodology of how you sell homes. So that alone adds value and can encourage higher prices in your service. Or you could be a nail technician, but you've come up with your own special gel that nobody else has. It's yours. Just like a company called Lashify. They have their own clip-on lashes that they have trademarked. So no one else can use that. So that alone enables them to price their stick-on lashes a lot higher than a lot of other companies. I hope you understand what I mean in regards to your unique perspective. So yeah, let's move on. So now let's talk about premium pricing psychology. And here's what most people don't understand about high-end pricing. So let's talk about the premium pricing paradox. Number 1, higher prices attract more committed clients. Number 2, premium pricing creates better results. Number 3, elevated rates requires elevated services. Number 4, luxury pricing demands luxury experience. So now let me introduce to you what I call value stacking. Here's how you create irresistible offers that justify premium pricing. So the value stack formula is that you have your core service, so it's your base offering. So then you add expertise elements, which is your knowledge. So then you add experience enhancers, which are your special features. So then you add in transformation amplifiers, which are result boosters. And then last but not least, you add in exclusive bonuses, which is added value, which equals to total service value. So let's make this practical. I'm going to give you an example. Say you're a business coach, for instance. Your value stack might look like this. Number 1, which is your core, which could be one-to-one coaching sessions. Then you have number 2, which is your expertise, which is your proven business growth framework. Then you have number 3, which is experience, which could be a VIP day at a luxury venue. Then you have 4, which is transformation, which could be daily Voxer access. Then you have number 5, which is exclusive, which could be private client network access. So do you understand what I mean with this? I haven't dived deep into it, but I've kind of touched the surface. But as I always say, if you want to go deeper into any of what I've taught today, email me at naomi@thediaryofnaomi.co.uk and we can book in a one-to-one consultation, a one-to-one session with me. So a client that I had, which was a wellness coach, used this framework to restructure their prices. She went from charging £97 per session to charging £5,000 for a 3-month package. Yes, you heard correctly. She went from £97 per session to £5,000 for a 3-month package. And here's what's fascinating. Her client results actually improved because they were more invested. So now let's talk about the energy to price alignment. And this is crucial. Your pricing should reflect the energy you want to embody, the clients you want to attract, the transformation you provide, the lifestyle you desire to create. So now let's move on to creating magnetic offers, which is the final part of this framework. And here's my proven formula. So let me break down the magnetic offer matrix. Number 1, have a clear transformation promise. Number 2, a unique methodology. Number 3, have high touch elements. Number 4, exclusive access. And number 5, results guarantee. So let me show you how this works in real life. We're going to create a magnetic offer right now. So we're not going to dive deep into it, but I'm going to give you the surface of how to do it, because like I said, if you want to dive deeper, you can have a one-to-one with me. But if I go too deep, this video would end up being like 3 hours long. So let's move on. So number 1, start with your core transformation. Number 2, add your unique methodology. Number 3, layer in high touch elements. Number 4, include exclusive components. And number 5, wrap it in premium positioning. So I hope that made sense to you, but if it doesn't, again, get in touch. So before we move on, I want to do a quick exercise with you. I want you to take out your phone or your journal and note down this: your current highest priced offer. 3 ways you could elevate it using the value stack formula, and what price would align with that elevated offer. And what I want you to remember is that pricing isn't just about numbers, it's about energetic alignment. When your pricing aligns with your worth, everything shifts. Your confidence grows, your clients transform, and your impact expands. So now that you have your strategic framework in place, let's talk about how to actually implement it without losing existing clients. So let's move on to the implementation guide. So what I'm going to do is give you 3 scripts that you can use when discussing your prices. So number 1, which is for introducing new rates. So what you could say is, I'm evolving my business to serve a higher level and my new investment reflects that. Number 2, which is about handling objections. I understand that this is an investment. What concerns can I address about the value you'll receive? For standing firm, my prices reflect the transformation I provide and I'm confident in the value my clients receive. So you can use these scripts or you can make up your own, but all I want you to do was just to give you some examples. So I hope they were okay. So before we wrap up, I want you to do something. I want you to close your eyes for me. Yes, close your eyes and imagine yourself in 6 months from now, confidently stating your prices, knowing that they reflect your worth. How does that feel? How does it feel? If this resonated with you today, I want you to do 3 things. Number 1, comment below with your biggest pricing insights. Number 2, share this video with another woman that needs to hear it. And number 3, take 1 action today to step into your worth. And I want you to remember your worth isn't something you earn. It's something you recognise. And when you recognise it, others will too. So until next time, stay magnetic, stay powerful, and most importantly, stay true to your worth. And don't forget that your presence is your power. Bye for now. Mwah.